All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that honestly looks pretty harmless on the surface, but it turns out there are some really serious hidden dangers for our shelled friends. And if you own a turtle, this is something you absolutely need to know. You've seen the pictures, I'm sure of it. Little turtles with their shells all painted up with bright colors or cool designs. And look, it almost always comes from a good place, right? It's an act of love, a way to make your pet feel special. But what's really going on here? Is this just a bit of fun, or is there a hidden danger we're missing?
So to really get to the bottom of this, we have to start with the basics. We need to understand what that shell actually is.
Okay, so here's the absolute key thing to remember. A turtle shell is not just some dead piece of armor. It's not like a helmet they can take off. It is a living, breathing part of their body. It's literally fused to their skeleton, their spine, their ribs. It's got blood vessels, it's got nerve endings. Think of it more like your own rib cage. It's living tissue. And that right there is what makes it so incredibly vulnerable.
And that vulnerability brings us straight to the first huge problem, the poison that's often hidden right in the decorations themselves.
You see, because that shell is alive and kind of porous, all the nasty chemicals you find in paint, the solvents, the toxins, they don't just dry on the surface. Nope, they can actually soak right through the layers of the shell, and that's when a really dangerous process kicks off inside the turtle's body.
It's like a three-step path to disaster, really. First, the toxic paint gets slapped on. Then, those chemicals get absorbed directly through the living tissue. And finally, those toxins hit the bloodstream, and from there, they're carried all over the turtle's body, poisoning it from the inside.
And the result? It can be a slow, painful death. The turtle is literally being poisoned from within, which can lead to all sorts of horrible things like organ failure, and it's all completely preventable.
Okay, so let's just imagine for a second that the turtle somehow survives the poison. You might think it's in the clear, but nope, the danger is not over, not by a long shot. There's a whole other problem that a coat of paint creates.
Think about it. A thick layer of paint is basically like putting a blackout curtain over the turtle's shell. We're talking 100% blockage. It completely seals the shell off from something it desperately needs to survive: sunlight.
So here's how that works. That paint creates a barrier that stops the shell from absorbing those vital UVA and UVB rays from the sun, and without those rays, the turtle just gets weaker and weaker and way more likely to get sick.
So why is sunlight such a big deal for a turtle? Well, it's absolutely essential for them. It's how they make vitamin D3, and they need that to process calcium. Without sunlight, they can get really sick with things like metabolic bone disease, where their bones and even their shells start to get soft. It's a core part of how their bodies are built to work.
Right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, paint is bad. I get it, but what about stickers? They're not poison. And you're right, they're not. But that brings us to a whole different kind of danger, and believe me, it's just as serious. So, while paint is like poison, stickers are more like a straitjacket. When you put a big sticker or one of those shrink-wrap decals on a shell, you're physically constricting it, stopping it from growing the way it's supposed to.
Here's the deal. A turtle's shell grows, and it grows from the edges of those little plates you see called scutes. So when you slap a sticker over them, you're basically gluing those plates in place. The shell tries to keep growing, but it can only expand where it's not covered. Over time, this forces the shell into these weird, unnatural, and deformed shapes.
And this isn't just about looking weird. It leads to permanent, painful deformities. The damage is irreversible, and it can even start to affect their internal organs as they're squished inside this twisted shell. It's awful. So, if paint is poison and stickers can deform them, what is the true meaning of loving a turtle? How can we show them we care in a way that actually helps them instead of hurting them?
Well, it's actually pretty simple. Real love for a pet turtle is shown by giving them what they actually need. Things like proper food, a clean and safe home, and making sure they get plenty of that all-important sunlight for basking. The best way to show you care is to let their shell be natural and beautiful, just the way it is.
So, it all comes down to a choice, doesn't it? What will you choose for your pet? A cute decoration or their health and safety? In the end, what's most important is giving them a long, happy, and healthy life. And that means letting a turtle just be a turtle.